Have you ever wondered if you're missing something from your warm-up? Well, the chances are you probably are, as pretty much everybody that I see warm up misses at least one of these elements. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 essential elements for a high-level tennis warm-up. And so stay tuned to see which one you're missing. This video is brought to you by my friends at ADV, who have just released their brand new training kit. A bag that's full of essential training and warm-up items specifically handpicked for tennis players. And so, as well as some valuable warm-up tips, you'll see what's inside this bag. Let's get into it. Now, I've put these 5 elements together along with all of the exercises as a best case scenario, but appreciate that you won't always have enough time to complete all of this warm-up. And so stay tuned to the end as I'll share with you what you should be prioritizing if you have a shorter amount of time. Now, step 1 for any good warm-up is you need to raise your pulse. You need to get the blood pumping around your body and around your muscles to prepare you for physical activity. Now, this can be done with a simple light jog, but I much prefer using a jump rope, or in the UK, we call it skipping. And the reason being is it does a lot more for you and your body than just raising your pulse. It also improves your coordination and your footwork, which we're going to get into a little bit more in some of the other steps. So if you're new to skipping, you want to start off with just a basic jump. So just like so, you're going to make 1 jump on every rotation of the skipping rope. If that's a little bit too quick or a little bit too difficult for you, you could go for 2 jumps on each one, just to get used to the coordination and the timing of skipping. But once you get comfortable with this, you can start to play around and get a bit more fancy with it. So you can use different footwork patterns. You can hop on one leg. You could do double skips, which is clearly a lot tougher. But the key here is to get a bit of a sweat on. And the nice thing about this skipping rope is it's got a little counter on it. And so you can work your way up to see if you can do 100 skips in a row or even more. But regardless of how many skips you can do, your aim should be to get a bit of a sweat on, get your heart pumping and ready for step 2. So the next essential element for your high quality warm-up is cognitive activation, basically connecting your eyes to your brain, to your body, and hand-eye coordination. This is a part of the warm-up that I very rarely see players doing, but I honestly think it's the most important part of this warm-up for getting you to see the ball well at the start of your match or your session. Now, these exercises can be done just with a normal tennis ball, but this reaction ball makes things a lot more challenging as the ball bounces differently every single time. First up, get yourself a wide, low and athletic base, like in your ready position when you're playing a match. Hold your reaction ball out in front of you and your aim is to react quickly to catch it after 1 bounce. As you'll notice, the ball bounces differently every single time, really challenging my eyes, my brain, and my hand-eye coordination. To increase the challenge level, you can have 1 hand behind your back, alternating hands each time you catch the ball. Oh, that's too good. Another cognitive activator that I like to do that doesn't necessarily require the reaction ball, but could be done with a normal tennis ball, is boxing catches. You've got to see how quickly, failed there, see how quickly you can do it. Just a really good one for sharpening that connection between your eyes, your brain, and your body. Next up is muscle activation, which if you are serious about your tennis, you probably do already, and you probably own a resistance band of some kind. These exercises are really beneficial when it comes to injury prevention. Now, personally, I prioritize my shoulders, my hips, and my glutes. Starting off with shoulders, I'll use a lightweight resistance band, and I will attach it to the net like so. And for my shoulders, I like to really activate my rotator cuff through internal and external rotation. So starting with my arm at 90 degrees, I will be rotating from my shoulder, keeping my arm in this 90-degree angle. I'll do this for 10 reps or so, and then I would change to my left side. Now, naturally, you can adjust the resistance to suit you. If this feels too difficult, you could stand a bit closer to the net post, and this adds a little bit of slack to the resistance band, making it slightly easier to achieve. External rotations can be done this way or across your body like so. I like to do both before playing. It really helps me when it comes to my serve. As well as external rotations, you can do internal rotations where you bring your forearm in towards your body like so. And one more that I like to do for my upper body is again using this lightweight resistance band. They're called YTWs. Holding the resistance band in a triangle shape like so, I'm going to start by pulling my arms up into a Y shape, then a T shape, and then a W shape. This one is actually going to warm up my shoulders, but also my back muscles as well. When it comes to warming up my hips and my glutes, I like to use a resistance band around my thighs, like so. If you ever go to the warm-up zones at pro tournaments, you'll see the pros using these quite a lot. So starting off with what I call crab walks. Basically, you get into a squat position and you move sideways, keeping in that low position. And what this resistance band does is it really engages your hips as you step out to the side. You should feel a burn on this one in your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your quads. It's a really, really good one. Step number 4 is warming up your footwork. And although we've done a pulse raiser already with skipping, we actually want to take that a step further and warm up more tennis specific movements. I like to do this by using cones. Now, I've set up 4 cones, roughly 1 racket length apart. And to begin with, I'm going to do 4 laps of the cones, moving in all 4 directions. Using 4 cones like this can be used in tons of different ways. So as well as doing laps of the 4 cones, you can also do figure of 8. You can incorporate shadow swings. Once I've warmed up my small adjustment steps, I then like to spread the cones further apart to create more explosive movements. And one exercise that I like to do is called the Spanish cross, where I hit a deep forehand, a short backhand, a deep backhand, and then a short forehand. Here we go. The Spanish cross is so versatile. You could change it up so that the 2 short cones are volleys. And moving on from that, it could be an overhead followed by a volley. Don't judge my backhand overhead. And step number 5 is adding mobility into your warm-up. And this is vital that it's done right at the end of your warm-up once you're physically warm, as your muscles are going to be far more mobile. Now, a simple one doesn't require any equipment. Standing up by the net, leg swings. This one is a staple in my warm-up. I'll do it facing forwards first, like so, until I'm feeling nice and loose. And then I'll do a version facing the net, swinging laterally across my body. Because I have quite tight hips, this one is great for me. As well as leg swings to open up my hips, I like to do the lizard, which is basically a long lunge, but I put my back knee on the floor and I plant my palms to the floor as well. I hold this for 30 seconds or so before changing legs, really opening up those hips. This one could be paired pretty well with what we call the pigeon. The pigeon is where you bring your leg up like so. You'll feel a really good stretch through your glute and through your hips again. And to take it to the next level, you can rest your forearms on the floor and go down as low as you can. Change legs, of course. And what I would say for you is when it comes to the mobility part of your warm-up, stretch the parts of your body that you feel get tight. And for all of these exercises and stretches, it's completely up to you as to whether you stick to a certain amount of reps, a certain time, I actually warm up pretty freely with no time limits or repetitions. I just do each exercise until I feel ready to move on to the next one. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, it's not always going to be practical to do every single one of those 5 elements, but they're all very important if you really want to perform at your best and prevent injury. And so my suggestion for you is, if you don't have time to do all 5, try to combine some of them. A good example of this might be combining your muscle activation with your footwork. You could do all of those footwork exercises with a resistance band around your thighs. Equally, the cognitive activation with the reaction ball could be paired with the resistance band, or even with some of the footwork drills. Use your imagination and pair some of these exercises up, but what is vital is that you do a pulse raiser at the start, no matter how you warm up. And if you plan on working on your mobility through static stretches, this must be done towards the end of your warm up when your muscles are already warm. Anyway, I'm really interested to find out how you currently warm up. So drop your routine in the comments and I'll reply to all of you. A massive thanks again to ADV for sponsoring this video and providing me with their training kit bag. I know that most of you, if you're serious tennis players, will have at least one of those items in your kit bag already. But what I love about this kit bag is it's tailored specifically for tennis players and has pretty much everything that you need for training and warming up. And I've been using it for a few weeks now and the quality is brilliant. And so if you're interested in getting one yourself, I've put a link down in the description. Thanks as always for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.